Welcome to our YouTube channel, where wisdom meets storytelling. Today we have a captivating Stoic tale to share with you, one that explores the profound importance of self-care in our lives. Join us as we delve into this inspirational narrative and uncover the secrets to a balanced and fulfilling life, guided by the principles of Stoicism. So, sit back, relax, and prepare to be enlightened by the story of Timotheus, as told by Callias, in our quest to prioritize self-care. In the bustling city of Athens, there lived a man named Callias, known far and wide for his unwavering commitment to Stoicism. He had studied the works of the great philosophers, especially Epictetus, whose teachings had shaped his life. Callias was a modest merchant, dealing in various goods and commodities. His small shop was a hub of activity, with customers coming and going, haggling over prices and demanding his attention. Despite the demands of his business, Callias made it a point to prioritize self-care, as he believed that one must first take care of oneself to be of service to others. One sunny morning, as Callias prepared to open his shop, a young man named Alexios approached him. Alexios was new to Athens and was intrigued by the reputation of the wise merchant. "Callias," Alexios began, "I've heard much about your commitment to Stoicism and self-care. Can you share your wisdom with me? I find it difficult to balance the demands of life and the need for self-care." Callias smiled warmly and invited Alexios into his shop. They sat down, and Callias began to tell him a story that exemplified the importance of self-care and how Stoicism guided his actions. "Once, not too long ago," Callias began, "there was a man named Timotheus who lived in this very city. Timotheus was a hard-working blacksmith who had a relentless dedication to his work. He spent his days toiling over the anvil, forging the finest weapons and tools in all of Athens. His craftsmanship was unparalleled, and his reputation was impeccable. But in his pursuit of perfection, he neglected his own well-being." Alexios listened intently as Callias continued. Timotheus was consumed by his work, often working long hours without rest. He rarely took time for himself, believing that he could endure any hardship in pursuit of his craft. His ambition and work ethic were admirable, but he failed to realize that he was neglecting his own physical and mental health. "One day," Callias continued, "Timotheus fell seriously ill. The long hours, lack of rest, and constant stress had taken a toll on his body. He was bedridden, unable to work or even take care of himself. His family was devastated, and the entire city lamented the loss of such a skilled craftsman." Alexios frowned, understanding the consequences of Timotheus's choices. "So what happened to him?" Callias replied, "Timotheus was bedridden for months, and during this time, he had ample opportunity to reflect on his life and choices. It was during this period of illness and self-imposed isolation that he realized the importance of self-care. He saw that his relentless pursuit of perfection in his work had come at a great cost. He had lost precious moments with his family, his health, and his own peace of mind." "But what can we learn from Timotheus?" Alexios asked. Callias leaned in and said, "We must learn to balance our ambitions and responsibilities with self-care. Stoicism teaches us that we have control over our own actions and choices. Timotheus's mistake was that he neglected this control. He believed that he could push himself endlessly, but in doing so, he lost the very things he was working so hard to protect: his well-being and happiness." "Self-care doesn't mean abandoning our responsibilities," Callias explained. "It means recognizing our limits and taking the time to rest, reflect, and nurture our physical and mental health. This, in turn, allows us to be more effective and resilient in our pursuits. A healthy and balanced life is a better foundation for success than overworking and neglecting ourselves." Alexios nodded thoughtfully. "I see the importance of self-care now, but how can I apply these principles in my own life?" Callias offered some practical advice. "Start by setting aside time each day for self-care, whether it's a brief moment of mindfulness, exercise, or simply enjoying a quiet cup of tea. Remember, taking care of your mind and body is not a selfish act. but a necessary one. It enables you to better serve others and live a more fulfilling life. With newfound determination, Alexios thanked Callias for his wisdom and left the shop. Callias watched him go, hopeful that he had imparted the valuable lesson of self-care through the story of Timotheus. As the days turned into weeks and months, Alexios applied the Stoic principles he had learned from Callias. He found a balance between his work, responsibilities, and self-care. Over time, he became more resilient, focused, and content. Callias continued to run his shop and share his Stoic wisdom with those who sought it. He knew that the story of Timotheus, the blacksmith who had lost himself in his work, served as a powerful reminder that self-care was not a luxury, but a necessity for a well-lived life. In the end, Callias lived out his Stoic principles, prioritizing self-care without sacrificing his responsibilities. He understood that just like the blacksmith Timotheus, we must always strive for balance in our lives, nurturing our own well-being to better serve those around us. Stoicism, as he believed, was not just a philosophy, but a way of life that could bring peace, resilience, and happiness to those who embraced it. In the end, Callias, the wise Stoic merchant, continued to inspire those who crossed his path with the story of Timotheus. His commitment to self-care and Stoic principles served as a guiding light for all who sought a balanced, meaningful life. As the days turned into years, his shop remained a sanctuary for those in search of wisdom, and his legacy lived on as a reminder that true success and fulfillment come not from relentless toil, but from the careful and compassionate nurturing of one's own well-being.